Team Biden turns negative age positive. In this video, we're going to talk about the new move that Joe Biden campaign has made to make his age a positive thing. And at the end, we're going to get into what really is the issue. Is it the age or is it something else? I'm Tim Black, and this is Calling It Out. Riding off the success and positive feedback from liberals about how well Joe Biden did at the State of the Union. Like, the guy was actually awake. He actually had a heart rate above 70.
My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down.
They're like, wow, okay, we got him in the building. They're going to start a new ad, and this ad is going to run in several key states like North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania. You know, states Joe Biden needs to win if he wants to win the whole thing. All right, so let's check out this video here.
Look, I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. But here's the deal. I understand how to get things done for the American people. I led the country through the COVID crisis. Today, we have the strongest economy in the world. I passed a law that lowers prescription drug prices, caps insulin at $35 a month for seniors. For 4 years, Donald Trump tried to pass an infrastructure law, and he failed. I got it done. Now we're rebuilding America. I passed the biggest law in history to combat climate change because our future depends on it. Donald Trump took away the freedom of women to choose. I'm determined to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again. Donald Trump believes the job of the president is to take care of Donald Trump. I believe the job of the president is to fight for you, the American people, and that's what I'm doing. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Can we do one more take?
Look, I'm very young, energetic, and handsome. What the hell am I doing this for?
You want to go outside and do some push-ups, fat? Huh? Want to go outside and have a piece of me? So what we're going to do is we're going to run through everything that was in that ad. It's going to run to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of U.S. citizens who are in key locations, battleground states, that Joe Biden needs to win over. So let's go ahead and debunk the whole thing. What I need from you is for you to actually give a damn about this. Yeah, I'm serious, man, because people will watch like 4 minutes or 5 minutes of a video that's important like this. This is about our country. This is about who's going to be the leader of the country. And this is going to be about holding them accountable. So I hope that my people care enough about this to stick it out. Let's start with number one. Joe Biden's focusing on age now. And what the flip is, it's a good thing. Being 81's good. It's not a negative. And I get it. The part that pisses me off about it is, for the last 6 months, the Democrats have been trying to make it seem like, well, you know, Trump's old too, so there it is. They were trying to run away from it and say, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Now it's like, we're both old. Okay, so you both have the benefit of experience. Is that what you're trying to say? So it's kind of a mixed signal. But obviously, when a presidential campaign switches its messaging and goes the opposite of downplaying age to embracing age, that means the earlier play, it wasn't working. So that's the first thing. He says he gets things done, like the COVID crisis. Great. You will take responsibility for everything that happened under the COVID crisis, right? Because that's your baby. You're taking responsibility. You're saying, hey, you got us through the COVID crisis. Great, that's important because black businesses got hosed during the COVID crisis. Yeah, black businesses suffered more than any other business group. Bear with me, guys. The financial hardships that were faced by black businesses is unparamount. Nothing comes close to it in recent times. That happened under Joe Biden's watch. His shutdowns shuttered black businesses to a degree where most of those black businesses will never come back. Those businesses are gone. I'm wondering, Joe Biden, what is your remedy for that? That's what the Congressional Black Caucus should be asking you. But since these guys and women are tap dancing, yes, men and women, company people looking to further their own careers instead of further the lives of their constituents. I got to ask the question. And since John Capehart, Joy Reid, Dr. Jason Johnson, Abby Phillip, none of those assholes have the guts. See, there I go. I'm getting upset. Guys. Let me calm down. Do this civilly, Tim. Since none of the talking heads that are African American, even Roland Martin's punk ass, none of them have the guts to say to you, Joe Biden, hey, you want to take credit for the COVID crisis? You want to take credit? You say you're the ones that shuttered the business. You saved our lives. We killed our businesses. Our businesses died. There was a loss of income. Many black entrepreneurs who relied heavily on their businesses relied on the income that was derived from those businesses. And when you shut down that long amount of time, those businesses, the losses of income, access to relief. Black businesses were less likely to receive financial relief due to existing inequities. So we weren't getting the financial aid that the other businesses were getting. Wealth gap. Institutional racism has perpetuated a racial wealth gap. Black households have significantly less accumulated wealth than white counterparts, making it harder for them to weather the economic shock. So that's another reason why. So all the other problems that we have were exacerbated by the shutdowns. The extended shutdowns hurt black businesses because we were already hurting. Another issue that the Democratic Party has never taken seriously. Business closures. So those record closures, those permanent closures, 41% of black-owned small businesses were forced to close during the pandemic compared to 17% of white businesses. So more than double the amount of black businesses had to shut down during your closures, Joe Biden. What you gonna do about it? What's the plan for that? Permanent closures. Thousands of black businesses permanently shut down due to financial strain, lack of customers, operational challenges, disproportionate decline, while overall small business ownership dropped by 22%. Black ownership declined by 41%. The largest decline among all racial groups. So when we say, when people come to my channel, people that say that they are progressive, people that say that they're even lefties, come to my channel, they get pissed off. They say, Tim, black focuses on black people. We're the ones on fire the most. We're the ones behind the enemy lines the most. We're the ones catching hell the most. And you're not talking about us. You don't care about our issues, so therefore, what the problem is, so many others have platforms and aren't saying what I'm saying, so I look like I'm an asshole. I look like I'm just an angry motherfucker. Because the rest of these Bammers ain't speaking up. They're not saying it real. Trevor Noah had a show for 6 years. What did he talk about? Did he talk about this? Or did he just embrace hip-hop and call it a day for blackness and say black women are great and they're heroes? And then made black men look like zeros and kept it moving. And it's not just him, it's a lot of them, but let's stay there. So what I'm saying, if Joe Biden wants to say, hey, I got us to COVID, when I watch that ad, what I'm thinking is something totally different than what some others are thinking. I'm thinking, what about the black small businesses? What are you going to do about that? What's your plan for that? And don't tell me it's unconstitutional to help the most affected, those black businesses that you directly impacted adversely. What are we going to do about it? So next. Thank you. I know everyone's clapping for this. Strongest economy. I'm glad Joe Biden brings up strongest economy. Amazing. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, President Biden, because I'm wondering why we can't get things for our country since we had the strongest economy in the world. Why is it that we don't have free tuition, free community college? Where's the health care? Why don't we have a public option? I mean, since you say we have the strongest economy in the world, why don't we have more than other countries, in the world, since we have the strongest economy in the world. See, this is why I have a problem with the Democratic Party and those aren't willing to fight the Democrats. Because they say, oh, we're fantastic, we're amazing. They do a whole this whole thing about how great America's doing, and then we look at the homeless rate. Then we look at the people that die unnecessarily because they don't have insurance. Then we look at a host of other issues, foreclosures. We look at all these things, and we look at all these ailments that face our communities, but then you say, but we're doing so great. We're killing it. We're being killed. We're literally being killed, Joe Biden. What's your plan? Don't talk to me about the infrastructure deal. I know he's going to talk about it later. He talks about it. It's coming up. First, he goes to lower prescription prices. Once again, half measure. Everything that Joe Biden does well, no matter what they brag about and say Joe Biden's the greatest, he is no FDR, okay? And FDR wasn't FDR because FDR left out the blacks, okay? Sorry. I know most of you fell out of a tree in 2020 and know nothing and haven't picked up a history book, but black people are all but left out of the New Deal, okay? Joe Biden's low prescription prices, that ain't cutting it, man. In a country this rich, we should have health coverage. Everyone should have health coverage. And you should stop letting us get raped by the pharmaceutical companies, and Ben did something about pharmaceutical prices. Once again, Joe Biden, whatever he does, it's a half measure at best. And usually it's not even a half measure. It's like a 10th measure. Whatever he gets done for us, he could have done so much more. Infrastructure law. Folks, I did a whole video dedicated to infrastructure law. I'm going to tell you like this. If you want us to believe that the infrastructure law is so great, I want to know why come people aren't jumping up and down going how great it is. I'm not talking about people that work for you, Joe Biden. I'm not talking about politicians in the Democratic Party. I'm talking about average citizens going, great, this is so amazing what it's done for my business. That's because it hasn't done anything for their businesses. It hasn't done anything for the average working person. I'm a working class fighter. I fight for those people in the working class. That's my roots. That's where I come from. That's who I am. That's what I fight for. And I don't see a remedy in Joe Biden's policies for that. When it comes to climate change, Joe Biden wants credit. He says, hey, I did such great things with climate change. Yes, some argue that he did some things that are going to help, but he also did things that hurt, like the offshore oil drilling leases that he sold, 80 million acres of leased. And this has a great impact on the climate. And they say that Joe Biden and his administration didn't even factor in how much damage this would do to the environment. And it's a decision made by the administration, as was the oil reserves. Because gas prices got high, he said, hey, we gotta do some more drilling. We got to do some more drilling. So the whole get to the net zero emissions thing is kind of out the window. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back type of thing with Joe Biden. And he ran on it. You ran on doing these things. And by all measures, the little bit that Joe Biden did has not been enough to really have bragging rights. He didn't set us back, but he didn't set us forward. At the end of the day, it's going to all wash, be an even. It's going to be basically a par performance on climate change when the opportunity was there to exceed all expectations, to exceed all. Then he criticized Joe Biden's plan, his climate plan, for not being aggressive enough, and then he cuts corners on it. So then he amps it up in one area, and in the other area, he makes concessions to the oil companies, to the oil refineries. So it's like, once again, it's always corporations over the people. Corporations over the people, that's not what we call leadership. At least not good leadership. Then this big one, Roe versus Wade. And this is a criticism that is so obvious. And it's the same one I want to make with the Democrats overall. It's not just Joe Biden. Though we could lay a lot of it at Joe Biden's feet because he's been in Congress and been a politician for 40, 50 years. So yeah, he can own this. Roe versus Wade should have been codified, which means it should have been made into a law, a specific law for Roe versus Wade, so that it could not have been diminished by any administration. That's what should have happened. But it wasn't. And neither was the Voting Rights Act, for that matter. So here it is. The Democrats want to get votes, saying they're going to shore up laws that should have already been shored up 50, 60 years ago. But the Democrats never wanted to expend the political capital to keep the two most important voting bloc, or I would say the most important voting bloc, which is the black vote. Why weren't we worth you, Joe Biden, and the Democratic Party, our votes anyway, to keep voting rights intact and to keep the woman's right to choose intact? These impact particularly black folks. And then we find ourselves over a barrel having to say we got to vote for Joe Biden to keep something, the ground that we should have already had, instead of gaining ground and moving on to something else like business development, racial wealth gap. We're going back trying to repair what was already there with the Voting Rights Act and with the woman's right to choose. And these are my criticisms, my fundamental criticisms. It's like black people don't have a party. It's like working class people don't have a party. And then you tell us we don't vote for you, we're voting against our interests, but we don't have a party now. Because the interest is not there, or the prioritization of our interests are not there by the party that we give our votes to. And now we got Joe Biden wanting to take victory laps and say he deserves your vote for doing half measures and for losing ground in key areas that should have been sold up a long time ago. There was no reason why Roe versus Wade should have been on the chopping block, or the Voting Rights Act should have been on the chopping block to begin with, if not for dereliction of duty, negligence, and just not giving a damn. Or here's the other thing, maybe it was all strategic in order to keep us in their pocket, needing them as an insurance policy. You know, never let her get a job. That way you ain't got to worry about her leaving you. Never let her have too much money. She got to keep coming to you for money so you can control her. Huh? Sound familiar? That's the kind of relationship that the Democrats have with the black vote and with the working class. And in this commercial, Joe Biden pretends it's not there. And then to round out the entire commercial, it always comes back to Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. He's evil. He played golf. The fact that Trump became a president is a direct indictment to how bad the Democratic Party was. It is. And he can become president again. Once again, the fact that there was ever number 45 just goes to show how bad the Democrat Party has done, how neglectful they've been, how negligent they've been to even open the door up for Trump. A guy with no political experience whatsoever. Trump hadn't done so much as held the position of dog catcher. Yeah, and then he ends a commercial on a high note, making a joke. Because, you know, Joe is just funny. He's just a really good guy, and you really got to like him. And no, I don't. And this is a transaction, and I need you to do a better job. I need you to be a better steward of this vote that you want us to give you. And the party has never done that. Not in my lifetime. So, this is why I say black people got to hold on to their vote. They got to find out what they want to do with their vote. They need to use their vote wisely. And I will not browbeat anyone. And you say, wow, Tim Black, a lot of people don't want to vote. Why would they want to vote? For what reason? 45% of Americans don't vote for a reason, because they got these two parties to choose from. And we got a party that says, I love you blacks, I love you black women, you're a hero. And then they let Roe versus Wade get overturned and let the voting rights go away. And we can't get the George Floyd bill in. But don't worry, we'll give you Juneteenth in Hip Hop Day. Fuck you.